and welcome to this week's module, Teaching the Online Learner. As we learn about all of the different student populations, it's useful to take a moment to discuss the ways in which those student populations are best reached and taught. Online students pose a unique challenge due to their separation from their instructor, and that will be the focus of this week's lesson. Online students are a huge population. Over 2.6 million American students were enrolled in fully online programs as of 2012, and that number continues to grow. In the online classroom, instructors are physically and sometimes geographically separated from their students, and students are equally separated from their fellow classmates. This sense of disconnect can negatively impact the online student's learning. Successfully teaching the online learner requires some planning and some special tricks that may not be necessary to deploy in a face-to-face classroom. Upon successful completion of this learning module, a student will have obtained the following learning objectives. You will be able to describe the typical online learner and demonstrate knowledge of the unique needs of and how to work with the student population in the online classroom. Develop strategies for engaging students in active learning and encouraging collaboration in the online classroom. And finally, explain strategies for assessing online students using collaborative activities. Before we talk about how to best reach the online learner, it's a good idea to discuss who the online learner is. Of course, it's never a good idea to overgeneralize a whole population of students, but there are certain trends that are seen when you analyze the enrollment data of online students. It has been found that the online student is very often Caucasian, female, about 33 years old, and likely to study business. Regardless of whether an online student fits those demographics, however, they still tend to share many positive characteristics. Typically, an online learner is a multitasker, someone who is already in the workforce full-time. They are often returning to school after a long absence, and they are looking for flexibility in their study schedule. In order to be successful at any venture, it's important to be prepared with the correct tools. In order to be successful as online learners, students should ideally have access to a computer, high-speed internet, and have the skill set to use it. Be open-minded about sharing personal details about their lives, their work, and other educational experiences. Not be hindered by the absence of auditory or visual cues, and be comfortable expressing themselves in writing. Be self-motivated and self-disciplined. Be willing to commit a significant amount of time to study and work collaboratively with fellow learners. And finally, have sharp critical thinking skills and the ability to reflect. As in a face-to-face classroom, from time to time students will encounter challenges or roadblocks to their success. Challenges specific to the online student include issues with time management, an unrealistic understanding of the time commitment involved in online learning, a lack of motivation. The online format makes learning very convenient, but also makes it very convenient to procrastinate. And finally, they can struggle with a sense of disconnect that stems from not hearing or seeing their instructors and classmates in the online classroom. The online learner is often juggling many different roles and responsibilities in their offline life. That makes it all the more crucial that online students are engaged in their studies and connected to their lessons and their classmates. Top 5 areas that should be emphasized in online learning are academic challenge, active and collaborative learning, student-faculty interaction, a supportive campus environment, and enriching educational experiences. In order to make sure that active and collaborative learning is taking place, instructors teaching online courses need to have some strategies up their sleeve. Some good ideas for ensuring active learning are the use of many low-stakes assignments, like low-point value quizzes or reflection questions. These types of assignments build student confidence, increase student motivation because they're accumulating points, and create a dialogue or interaction between student and instructor. An instructor can consider the use of synchronous learning activities even in the online course environment, such as a weekly chat session. And finally, instructors can engage with students using mini videos or microcasts, which are short messages from the instructor to students as part of the weekly overview, perhaps, and that imparts a sense of instructor presence in the online classroom. As with active learning strategies that utilize collaboration in the online classroom, assessing an online student can make use of collaborative activity as well. A few ideas for collaborative assessments include student reflection activities, metacognition activities. Metacognition means thinking about one's own thinking, and these activities might look like journaling before, during, and after an experience or a lesson in order to track student development. You can encourage collaborative assessment by requiring the public sharing of papers and assignments and giving student-to-student feedback. And finally, using rubrics to clearly articulate expectations and the criteria for the awarding of points. The online learner is a complex type of student with a unique set of needs and challenges. Understanding how the online student learns is useful for anyone intending to teach an online class, assist with online course design, or to work in an administrative capacity for a distance learning program. This knowledge is also applicable to the online student themselves, allowing them to self-assess their learning and to understand what tools they need to have in their toolkit in order to be successful. Thank you for taking the time to view this learning module. I hope you found it informative, and I welcome any questions you might have.